Japan is facing one of its most heated national debates in recent years. A new survey reveals that the Japanese public is almost evenly split on a critical question. Should Japan use military force if China attacks Taiwan? This debate intensified after Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi made a bold and controversial statement, one that has triggered diplomatic tension, domestic division, and even travel warnings from Beijing. In today's video, we break down what the survey revealed, why Japan is divided, how China is responding, and what this means for regional security in Asia. Stay with us till the end, because each part of this story connects to a bigger global picture. But what exactly did Japan's Prime Minister say that started this storm? Let's dive in. The Prime Minister's explosive statement. Recently, Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi made headlines across Asia and beyond. During a press interaction, she stated that any Chinese military attack on Taiwan could be considered a survival threat to Japan. In Japan's national security framework, a survival threat is not just a diplomatic phrase, it's a legal classification that allows Tokyo to consider collective self-defense, meaning Japan could justify using military force in response. Takaichi's message was clear. If China attacks Taiwan, Japan may have to intervene militarily to protect its own safety. Her statement was meant to highlight regional security concerns, but instead, it ignited a political firestorm. Tokyo insists the comment reflects Japan's strategic reality. Taiwan lies extremely close to Japanese territory, especially the island of Okinawa. But Beijing saw this statement very differently. To China, it was a direct interference in what it considers its internal affairs. So how did the Chinese government respond to Japan's warning? The reaction was sharper than many expected. China's immediate and strong response. Chinese officials condemned the Japanese Prime Minister's statement as dangerous and irresponsible. But the response didn't stop with words. In a rare diplomatic move, China issued a travel warning to its citizens, advising them to be cautious about traveling to Japan. This was widely interpreted as a political message rather than a safety concern. China also reminded Tokyo that most of the world, including Japan, does not officially recognize Taiwan as an independent state. China warned that foreign interference will only trigger serious consequences. This reaction highlights how sensitive and volatile the Taiwan issue has become. Any statement from a major power, especially Japan, can cause immediate diplomatic ripples. But while governments argue, what are ordinary Japanese citizens thinking? A new survey reveals a surprising divide. What Japanese citizens really think? A nationwide survey conducted by Kyodo News, one of Japan's leading news agencies, revealed that the public is deeply divided on the question of military involvement. Here are the key findings. 48.8% of Japanese citizens support the idea of Japan using military force if China launches a military operation against Taiwan. 44.2% oppose Japan getting involved militarily. This reflects a near-even split, showing how complex the issue is for the Japanese population. Those in favor of intervention argue that 1. A conflict in Taiwan would directly threaten Japan's own security. 2. Chinese control of Taiwan would give Beijing strategic advantage near Japanese territory. 3. Japan, as part of the U.S. alliance, has a role in maintaining stability in the region. Those against intervention say that 1. Japan should avoid being dragged into a war between global powers. 2. Military involvement could put Japanese civilians at risk. 3. Diplomacy, not force, should be the priority. The poll results were published at a time when public emotions were already heightened because of the Prime Minister's remarks and Beijing's strong reaction. The survey illustrates a nation standing at a crossroads. Should Japan take a more assertive military position or maintain a cautious stance in regional conflicts? But why is Taiwan such a critical issue for Japan? Understanding this requires looking at the broader geopolitical picture. Why Taiwan matters to Japan? Japan's concern over Taiwan isn't new. It's grounded in geography, economics, and national security. 1. Geographic proximity. Taiwan is extremely close to Japan's southern islands. Some parts of Okinawa are only about 100 kilometers away. A military conflict in Taiwan would likely spill into nearby waters and airspace that Japan controls. 2. Economic and trade importance. Japan depends heavily on the sea routes around Taiwan for trade and energy imports. Any disruption in this area could severely impact Japan's economy. 3. Strategic security. If China were to take control of Taiwan, its military presence would move significantly closer to Japan. This would shift the balance of power in East Asia, something Tokyo wants to avoid. 4. Alliance with the United States. Japan is a key U.S. alliance. If tensions escalate, Tokyo may face pressure from Washington to support Taiwan or at least contribute to regional defense. Because of these factors, Japanese leaders argue that Taiwan's stability is directly tied to Japan's own safety. But China sees this as Japan interfering in its internal affairs. With Japan and China exchanging warnings, the region is on edge. So what might happen next? What this means for regional stability. The latest exchange between Japan and China underscores a growing tension in East Asia. Diplomatic relations between Tokyo and Beijing were already strained, and now they are facing new challenges. Japan is increasingly vocal about regional threats, while China is becoming more assertive in defending its position on Taiwan. Meanwhile, Taiwan continues to reject Beijing's claims and prepares for possible future conflict. Analysts say that if a crisis erupts over Taiwan, Japan will be one of the first countries to feel the impact. The question now is not just whether Japan would intervene, but whether it can afford not to. This issue is larger than Japan and China. It affects the entire Indo-Pacific region and could potentially reshape global politics. So the big question remains, if tensions continue to rise, what role will Japan ultimately choose to play? Thanks for watching. If you found this analysis helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Should Japan intervene if China attacks Taiwan, or stay out of the conflict? Your opinion matters, and we'll feature the best comments in our next video.